of certain rocks. This is very, very popular activity. It's not allowed to do climbing everywhere because of the monasteries, the history, the significance of the place, so it's not possible to do everywhere. The people they come, they have to know the rules, they have to know where to go, not to go, and they have a map, so they must be very well informed about the restrictions. But they do it a lot on certain rocks. So here in front of us now we have the entrance. As you can see much better the rocks. The entrance of this beautiful region, Meteora. Meteora, it's a Greek adjective. It means suspended between the earth and the sky. So this is the name that the monks, they gave to the rock area centuries ago. Some of them, when they came to the top of the rocks, they felt suspended. And that's why they decided to call one of the rocks Meteor. Meteor is a Greek name, and when we talk about many rocks, we use the plural number. So Meteora. This is how we call the area. You can see to the left the caves. It's interesting to see how many small and bigger holes there are on the surfaces of the rocks. Yes, on the right side here, to the right side, there is another cave. You can see, we see again. There is another cave, you will see again now that we turn. There is a cave with all the colors. You see colors in that cave. So that one is related, the cave, it's related to a festival for the rock climbers. There is a day in April, it's on the 23rd of April, that 3-4 of the local people, they are climbing. Now you can see the hole. You see a small hole to the right side of that rock. Inside you can see the colors. So all of them are colorful scarves. And the local people that they are climbing to the interior, they are offering them, and they collect the old ones and they give them to the local people, to the families, to the children. It's a very, very beautiful moment for the whole area, related to something that a lot of people they do, climbing. And on the day of St. George's celebration, which is in April, and it's always a nice opportunity for people to meet and talk and have fun and do climbing. It's beautiful. So that cave, we call it of St. George because there is a small chapel beneath the rock. We don't see the chapel from the main road. There is one. So that day they do the mass in the morning, and then the people take the ropes, go to the cave, climbing to the interior where they can find the scarves. It's an opportunity for climbing, and some people of the area, they always enjoy climbing. Here to the right you can see another very, very big cave. Look, you can see one of the very, very big caves where you see that rock to the lowest point. One of the first hermitages, the first monks who came to this area 700-800 years ago, it was before the 1300, they came here for one reason, because the place, it was inaccessible, it was difficult, it was a very good option for the monastic life. So they found the caves and they settled down, hermits, without any buildings, without any constructions, just them. On the right side now you can see the community of St. Nicholas. That building with the red roof, the color, is one of the 6 monasteries. We have 6 in the area now, right now. One of them we just saw. The buildings located on the top of the rocks. Christian communities. So the area here is important for a lot of reasons. One of them is the significance of the communities, of the Christian monasteries on the top of the rocks. As I was telling you, before the 1300, the first monks came here. We have information, writings, references, books about that period of time and how the monks came, and because of the inaccessibility of the place, they decided to stay. For us, it's impressive. And sometimes people, they ask, okay, but why to come here? Why did they decide to choose and to come here and to settle down? They knew it's gonna be tough. They didn't come here because they thought it's gonna be easy. They wanted the challenge. They wanted the difficult path, which theoretically was the way to come closer to God. By being here, alone, each one of them in a cave, pray to God, survive, overcome the difficulties. This is what they needed to do, to come closer to God in a place that not easily could be reached by other people. It was offering them, in a way, safety, because it was far from the world, and closer to God. In front of us now, if you look straight ahead, you can see another one on the top of that rock, a convent. That one is for the women, one of the two. There are 6 communities in the area, 2 of them for the women, the nuns, and 4 of them for the monks. So this is the number of the communities. All of them are Christian. Now that you are in Greece, when we talk about the Christian church, is the Orthodox, not anymore the Catholic Church. In Greece we are Christians, but Eastern Christian, so it means Orthodox. And all of these monasteries, they are protected by the Central Church of Greece. There are still monks, nuns. They survive, the communities, they survive, and the monks and the nuns, they try to keep the balance between us, the touristic development, and them. Not easy, not always, but necessary. Look now to the left, another big community. On the top of that very, very high rock, that rock to the left, one of the highest, almost 1,800 feet above the sea level. I know that a very common question, another very common question, is how they found the way to go up, how to carry the materials and to make the buildings and to organize the life, to find the water, to move the supplies, because a community is a life. There is life, there are people, they need things, they need food, they need water, they need buildings for sleeping, they need the church to pray. So it's a Christian community. Some people, they choose and they stay together for a common reason. When we talk about a Christian community, the reason which will bring them together is the faith. They do this out of a common faith. Into this area, the common faith is the Christian church, and in particular the Orthodox, because we talk about Orthodox Christian churches, Orthodox Christian monks and nuns. And sometimes people, because it's confusing, I know, sometimes people, they ask if the Greek church is a Christian church. Of course it is a Christian church. It is one of the Christian churches. You have been to Italy, you have seen Catholic places, maybe important, you have seen churches that they follow the tradition of the Catholic faith. Now we are in Greece, we are Christians, but Orthodox. And these places that you see, they belong to the church. They are protected by the church. And someone who is thinking to be a monk or a nun in Greece must be Orthodox Christian. Not only Greek, but Orthodox, it's important. That's why I told you that they stay together for a common reason. And the reason here is the faith. And all of them must be Orthodox Christians. For example, if a woman comes from Romania to stay in a community, it's possible to stay, because in Romania, like in Greece, the people are Orthodox Christians. They don't speak the same language as we do, but she can come. If a woman from another country, Roman Catholic or Protestant, will decide to come, it's not possible, because she comes from a different church. This is the most important, to belong to the same faith, to belong to the same church. So all of the monks who came here 700-800 years ago, they were looking for the inaccessibility, and they came to the top of the rocks and they were pulling a basket so as to bring on the top whatever they have needed, materials, food, supplies, and themselves. It was not easy, but for them it was the way to come closer to the top, closer to God. And even though it sounds like something that is not possible to happen, it happened. We have biographies of the monks, we have references, we see the buildings. Some of the buildings are 500 years old, some of them are 700 years old. So we do know that all of them constructed by the monks under very difficult circumstances, and some they still survive. Now to the right you can see two different monasteries. They look all the same because of the color of the roofs. All of them are covered with red tiles. And here on the right hand side, if you look at the right, you can see four. 1, 2, 3, 4 of the monasteries. The view from up here is lovely. Look at the rocks, the mountain. You can even see some houses behind the rock from the village we saw earlier, Kastraki. And the four monasteries. 4 plus 2 we are about to see. Altogether 6. As we told you, before the convent, because we are visiting one of them inside, but before we go there, there is a very, very nice viewpoint where we will stop. And we give you time for the view, because the view is probably very, very important. Probably more important than the guide sometimes. So that's why we will give you the time to enjoy the view. You know, in the morning in this area it is always so much better. Early morning, as it is now. It's not busy, it's cooler, because in the day it can be very hot, it can be very warm. In the morning it's always cooler, and later in the evening also it's very, very nice. And it's not so busy with many buses. Through the day the area can be so busy. I mean, there are times that there are so many buses all at the same time. And that's why when people they have the opportunity to start early in the morning, it is much, much better for a lot of reasons. So we will make the stop. The view is amazing, amazing. You can see 5 monasteries from the viewpoint. The only one you don't see from here is the one we will go to visit, so we see that one later. But you can see 5 more. And the rock where you can go, it's not slippery, but don't go to the edges.
Okay guys, to be honest with you, we don't make this stop for every group because sometimes we don't trust them. So that means that I trust you. You have to